Okay, this is my case study, Internet Use Violations, Educational Law, fall of 2016. My name is Melissa McNeil. So first thing was Category 1, Problem Identification and Data Analysis. So what do I know? I do know Roosevelt High School is an affluent area. I know Dr. Steve Forbes has been a principal for at least for those 9 years and was recognized for Principal of the Year 2 years ago. Ms. Walker has completed her master's degree plus another post-grad work. She has high academic expectations, which could be causing the high levels of stress. Parents are calling concerned about Ms. Walker's stringent expectations. And somebody created a website that includes highly suggestive comments about Ms. Walker. So what do I need to know? Is Ms. Walker part of any kind of mentoring program through the school? Any kind of induction program that would help her with support, with resources in the first couple of years of teaching? What are some of the strategies Dr. Forbes has recommended to reduce classroom stress? Does the school or district have a responsible technology user agreement to hold students accountable? And what was in the content of the website? Based on A and B, what's the problem? Well, couldn't narrow it down to one. So 3 major problems that I found was Ms. Walker does not feel safe due to the website that was possibly created by a student. We don't know who it was. May have threatening information. The other problems that I found were that she has a rigorous class, and there's concern with parents because students are getting lower grades than they're used to receiving. And Ms. Walker is a new teacher in a successful high school and may not have the proper resources to help her students succeed. Category 2, proposed plan of action with appropriate strategies for implementation. So plan of action, while the most obvious problem is the website. There's a couple of other problems that I would look into. First, find out who created the website. Second, discuss with Ms. Walker the reasons for why her class has high stress. And then determine if Ms. Walker is participating in a mentorship. So some of the strategies as far as the website is, first, start getting a list of the kids or the students that may be responsible for creating this website. Somebody who's angry, kind of like what they did in the end of the case study. Involve technology staff to start investigating who may have created the website based on the narrowed down list. Start interviewing students, parents, teachers. Once students are found, assuming they are found, follow disciplinary action based on the depth of the threat, since we don't know what was on the website, whether it was rude remarks versus violent threats. Just follow through with appropriate disciplinary action. And 4, make it very clear to other students about this type of behavior and how it is unacceptable. Category 2, strategies to implement the classroom environment. Set up a time to meet with Ms. Walker regarding her classroom environment. Explain to Ms. Walker that while expectations should remain high, it's just as important to create those student relationships and to build that trust. Provide opportunities for Ms. Walker to attend classroom management resources to help decrease the amount of stress in class. And 4, support Ms. Walker by regularly providing positive and constructive feedback during observations. Strategies to implementing the mentor program. Determine Ms. Walker, Ms. Walker is currently involved in a mentorship in the building. If so, explore some topics and resources her mentor and Ms. Walker can work on to help her feel more at ease in her new environment. Support her with her induction program if she is involved in one. If not, provide opportunities she could attend that would help her with student relationships and maintaining those high expectations. Resolving the issue. So how is this best for the student? Well, by determining who created the website, you're holding the students accountable and providing appropriate consequences. This establishes boundaries for their actions. And when students understand their boundaries, they know what may happen. By supporting Ms. Walker in her classroom management and student relationships, this would ultimately create a more positive classroom and give Ms. Walker tools to help her students thrive and succeed, which would be a win for everyone. And then facts to support the data and data to support the resolution. First, it's clear that Roosevelt High School is successful as it is. Its environment certainly helps with student success. In addition to Ms. Walker's high expectations, stress could be coming from home as well. As a new teacher that has high expectations, Ms. Walker may not be familiar with the culture of the school and how to cultivate those relationships. Second, it stated that Ms. Walker has not fully implemented the suggestions by Dr. Forbes. So this may indicate that she may not have other resources, she may disagree, she may not even have the time to implement those ideas. Lastly, students that have created the website have not been aware of the consequences, nor they know the repercussions of such an action. And they may find that by threatening the teacher, that can cause her to leave, by just stating who wants her to disappear, as she interpreted that as a death threat. Category 4, debriefing the problem reflection. So my thoughts were, my very first thought that went through my mind was, how much teaching experience does Ms. Walker have? So while the case stated that she was a beginning teacher, this didn't give me much of an indication. What my second thought was, what grade level is Ms. Walker teaching? This would help clarify why her classes may be more intense than others. If she's teaching high school juniors and seniors, it's understandable why it needs to be of higher stakes than freshmen and sophomores. And then what exactly was on that website that she would assume that they were trying to kill her? Being able to read the website would give me a better understanding of the contents. Feelings, I couldn't help but feel a sense of entitlement from the students and the parents that were complaining. From a teacher standpoint, it feels as if Ms. Walker, being a new teacher, is giving students something to work harder for. So they may not be used to just having things come easy for them. Next, I was frustrated by Ms. Walker's initial reaction to the website. I interpreted the last statement on the website to be much differently, and I felt that hers was an exaggeration. Lastly, I felt a little lost because there was a great deal of missing information, and with most of my solutions, I had to assume much of the data, which I don't like doing. Values. First, I value Dr. Forbes' mission for his high school, and as a principal, I aspire to work really hard, hire quality teachers, and inspire current teachers to better themselves. Second, I value Ms. Walker's passion for her subject. She did get a degree, a professional degree, and she got even postdoctorate work so that she can be better qualified for her position. And lastly, I value Ms. Walker's safety. I think that she should feel safe, and I'm glad that Dr. Forbes took her seriously. 3 unresolved issues. The first one for me was knowing what type of mentorship or induction program she was in. I just need to know that the teacher is getting all the tools she needs so she can succeed, which means the students will succeed. The next unresolved issue was knowing if the students signed an agreement to their online usage. Without knowing that, we don't know if there were consequences already in place or what disciplinary action is in place. And the last unresolved issue was the content of the website. And without knowing exactly what was stated, there's not a lot of room for interpretation. So category 5, 3 components. The first one being how I acted as a leader with integrity. The first was strategizing a plan to discover who exactly created the website. This is an ethical way to solve the first problem, so as not to outright accuse the first student that Ms. Walker had in mind. Next, considering all angles in the situation is a way to act with integrity so as not to side with either students or a teacher. And last, being responsive to Ms. Walker's concern, demonstrated integrity by being responsive to her concerns about the website. Component 2, how I was treating people fairly and equitably with dignity and respect. First, working with Ms. Walker about her classroom rigor demonstrated dignity to equip her with confidence and tools. Next, being an available resource for Ms. Walker when she found out about the website, being a good listener and responding to her needs when she felt unsafe demonstrated respect. In addition, not accusing specific students right off the bat, but getting suggestions from Ms. Walker directly demonstrated equitably for all those that may have been involved in the creation of this website. And lastly, discovering if students signed a user agreement to hold students accountable to demonstrate respect to the disciplinary process of the school. And category 3, how as a building leader demonstrated a personal and professional code. The first step that demonstrated personal code of ethics was hiring a teacher that was highly qualified to provide students with a deeper understanding of specific science concentrations. Next, allowing Ms. Walker to continue her high expectations, not giving her tools and resources to help increase the morale in the classroom. And lastly, following through with disciplinary for the students that created the site. and sharing the experience with others to warn them about the consequences of such an action demonstrates my support for staff and their methodology.